And crack really became a problem when it starts to spread into the suburbs. Then it was like war on D.C., D.C. under siege. Then it was like 60 Minutes got involved. Right? Then it was, let's stop it. But when it was in the black communities, it was fine.
Now, when you were dealing, Jay, were you ever afraid? Were you afraid of getting killed? Were you afraid of getting hurt?
You know, the funny thing is, like, you become sort of numb. It becomes part of your life. If you're doing something every single day, you'll forget the danger and everything that's involved, and how 1 second can just change your whole life.
What made you say, I'm done?
Because that, you know, that lifestyle, you know what it is. It leads to two things: it's prison or going to jail. Like that's just a part of it. There's no escaping that. That's gonna happen. Absolutely, 100%.
But other guys do it, and they know that that's gonna happen, and they still continue to do it. Why did you decide, I'm done?
Well, I had a talent that I was ignoring for a while. You know, some people don't have things to fall back on, or they can't see that far.
Now, you decide to pursue music. You quit high school in order to pursue it. Number one, was that a tough decision? And number two, did your mom dig it?
Well, my mom didn't dig it, but it was a great decision for me. It wasn't tough for me. You know, I mean, I had my eyes on something, and you know, I was gonna get it done. Like, I don't recommend that, because there's very few successful rappers. You know, there's tons of lawyers and accountants and managers and all these other people who have long careers. Rappers have short careers for the most part, 2 or 3 years, and if you don't hit, you know, right out the gate, then, you know, you're pretty much in trouble.
How did Sean Carter become Jay-Z? How'd that name come about?
When I was young, I had, like, you know, sort of like my demeanor now, like really cool.
Right.
So they used to say that's a jazzy little kid. You know, he's real jazzy.
Right.
So they used to call me Jazzy. But I ain't, jazzy was too much pizzazz. It sounded like purple sequin suits or something. So I just took the J and the Z from Jazzy.
When you became Jay-Z, how did you learn about the rap business?
I wasn't really thinking about the business when I first came into it. I really just thought about a way out, and I thought about a way to tell my story. Like, I was really just trying to impress my friends. Like, I was just talking about stuff that we went through and, you know, and put it in rhyme, and they thought that was really amazing. So I was really just trying to impress them. So I wasn't really thinking about the business of rap. I was forced to think about the business because I couldn't get a deal.
Now, I read somewhere where you said that the record business is more cutthroat and less honest than selling drugs. Is that true?
Yeah, because there's no repercussions in the record business, right? It's just like, you stole my artist, I'm gonna sue you. Well, sue me, I got lawyers too. You know, but in the streets, that could lead to something, you know, final.
How do you deal with that?
Final is a great word, right?
Final is final. Yeah, nothing after final. Well, we learned how he became Jay-Z, and now we're going to learn how he became a superstar. That's next on Center Stage. Stay right here. Welcome back to Center Stage, everybody. Our guest is Grammy Award-winning rapper Jay-Z. Jay, when I listen to rap music, I play it over and over, and I try to get the lyric, and I can't. I don't know, maybe I'm not cool, but how do you remember every single word? And you're doing concerts where you're doing all of these songs. How do you do that?
It's like singing a song, though. You know, I'm sure you memorize songs that you like growing up.
Right.
Rap is a little is difficult because it's coded in slang, and, you know, it's wordy. You know, like the Beatles, their chorus was, you know, they repeat them. I wanna hold your hand.
But I've heard that you don't even write your songs down when you write them. They just stick in the chip in your head. How's that possible?
Weirdo.
You never lose it?
I've lost about 4 or 5 albums, but but that came through, you know, like, I guess like a memory exercise. Like, you know, I used to write so much. I had this green little notebook, and I would sit at the table for hours and just drive my family crazy. So then I start you know, moving around. I wasn't home as much. I had to memorize. I would still get these thoughts, so I had to memorize them till I got back home and put them in the notebook. So through memorizing 1 song, 2 songs, and I started having 4 songs, and then it just became what I did. I just memorized it and go to the studio and do it.
Now, when you do a concert, I've been to like a Springsteen concert and a Billy Joel concert, and they have teleprompters there. All the words are there. You would think they'd know their songs. Do you have a teleprompter at your concerts?
No, but the crowd helps me out a lot, too.
Really?
Everyone knows the words. Yeah.
Is there ever a time that you forget?
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Mo. See?
That's your teleprompter. Now, you released your first solo single in '96. It was called In My Lifetime. No. Solo single.
There you go.
Single.
Yeah.
I'm down with this. I did my research. We'll get back to the album.
Yeah.
Is it true that you sold that song out of the back of your car?
Yeah. They had this record store down in Fulton Street, and I would take records there back and forth. And, you know, they wouldn't take all the records, so I would have the records, and I'd just be hanging out, and I'd just open the trunk, and people go play the music. You know, you play the music loud in the car, and you have the CDs in the trunk, and they go by, they like it.
So you were on promoter, producer, distributor, the whole deal?
Yeah.
Now, you started Rockefeller Records, and you had Damon Dash and Kareem Biggs Burks. What made you guys do that?
We couldn't get a deal. We wasn't geniuses, like.
To start your own record, you had to be pretty smart.
No, it was more out of necessity. We shopped our demo everywhere. We couldn't get a deal, so, you know, it was either give up or say, you know, we can do this.
Also in '96, you released your first album, Reasonable Doubt. And that was with Primary Records, and it was well received. Did it sell okay?
Well, over time it went platinum, but when it first came out, you know.
So people went back and bought it after you became big?
Right, it's considered a classic in hip-hop circles, so I guess in all circles now.
Now, that same year, Tupac was killed, and your friend from high school, Biggie, was killed as well. Why is rap so violent?
You got to figure we come from, you know, violent neighborhoods. So when you become a rap star, that's not it. Like, you cross the line, you made it, and you look back at everybody, you're like, you can't touch me now. I'm a rapper.
Right.
I got a deal. So, you know, it just don't cut off like that. So we're from violent neighborhoods. You know, these are problems that stem from the neighborhood that follow you into your career as a superstar.
But you can't go back.
Can't cut off.
You can't go back to the Marcy Projects now, can you?
Of course I can.
But aren't you afraid?
No.
Really?
I'm not afraid of my own people.
Really?
No, I'm not afraid of my own people. That's crazy to me. You know?
But how about, there might be people that are jealous of Jay-Z's success. Aren't you afraid of that? Jealousy's ugly.
I'm more afraid of the people in the corporate world that's afraid of my success.
Really? How did Biggie's death affect you? Because you guys are really close.
Yeah.
How did it affect you?
I mean, you know, you can imagine, like, with any friend, if you lose your friend, like, it throws you for a loop. Like, you know, just because you're a recording star, you're not, like, above feelings, like your feelings. So that, you know, that was big for me.
Let's move to '98. You released your third album, Hard Knock Life, on your label, and it was through Def Jam. This really changed your life. It sold 5 million copies. How did it change your life, and did you know when you made it that this is it?
Before it came out, I did a promotion run. Like you do these runs, you go to towns to let people know that the album's coming out. And I did a stop in Virginia. It was like pandemonium. We were screaming and yelling. I couldn't get out the store. And then it was like helicopters flying over. And then every state that I went to, on the news, they was announcing that I was coming to town.
So you knew it was clicking.
Then an album hadn't come out yet, so I was like, this is going to be big.
The strange part about that album and the title track, to think that a song from Annie could be on a rap album and be a huge hit. I mean, for those that don't know rap, it's a hard knock. Like, what made you make that connection? How did you know this will work?
Because the message in both songs are the same. The message of the orphan, you know, and the message of the guy who grew up in the project is pretty much the same. That hard knock life and, you know, going through adversity to reach the big house or wherever, you know, you have dreams of going.
Well, Jay-Z, with all this music, ends up winning a Grammy Award, but at the beginning, he's not too cool about going. We'll explain when we return to center stage. Jay, I'm wondering, when your mom calls you, does she call you Jay or does she call you Sean?
She calls me Sometimes if she's upset, she calls me Sean. If she calls me Jay if she's being cool, because she thinks she's cool.
The album Hard Knock...
Let me correct that. She's pretty cool.
Right, but she thinks she's cooler than she is.
Yeah.
The album Hard Knock Life made you a star, as we said, international star, and you had a 52-city tour that was sold out everywhere. Why do you think that your music resonates with so many people?
I think it's like watching any good movie or any story any great story told, you know, over time. You know, there's things that you have to overcome, and there's, you know, your way about going about doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that message inside the music, it's always there, and the hook is pretty catchy, and